What's up, YouTube? It's James Quick from Learn, Build, Teach, and I'm back today with another resume review. Another one that actually is pretty cool. This is for Danny Thompson, who is a big member of our community here in Memphis. He has been a student in the LaunchCode program for the boot camp that I teach the last 6 or 7 months. He's really been a leader in the community, helps run a group called Code Connector, has helped really teach the other students in class as he's kind of learned a little bit ahead of schedule. Just a great overall guy, great person to have in the community, great person to have in class, and really excited to be able to provide some insight to Danny on his resume. So I wanted to start off just by sharing the thing he sent me to start was his website, dannythompsondev.com. And I just think it's worth noting, if I refresh here, these animations are actually really, really cool. I really like just adding a little touch of something extra going on the site here. One of the things I'll mention this for him, something that he's pretty proud of as well, is his network on LinkedIn. Does a lot of networking, and this is actually one of the biggest, maybe one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you in terms of searching for a job, is to build your network, whether it's online, whether it's in person, going out to events. Those kind of things almost are going to mean a lot more than your actual resume. So I think Danny is a great example of taking advantage of being in the community, of going out and meeting people, making sure that you build those relationships, because that's going to go a really long way in your job search. So outside of just your resume, that's something that you can definitely do to up your chances of finding opportunities and then getting the chance to interview and hopefully land a position. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to his resume here. Can I get that to go? How can I get that hover to go away? Anyway, so starting off here in the career profile, one of the things I've never quite understood about these kind of intros is like not following a full sentence structure. And Danny, it's not just you. This is how a lot of people approach this. But it's not. So you start off with a prominent leader in the community, a member, and it basically becomes kind of a run-on sentence. I don't really like that personally. The way I look at those is either you've got like bullet points and those are phrases that aren't complete sentences, or you actually turn this into a full couple of sentences. So I am a prominent leader at Code Connector, a member in the community, and a collaborator in the Memphis tech ecosystem. I have 10 years of experience, work experience at the senior director levels, and I'm looking to transition into a career in computer programming, tech, and coding. And again, this is just, it doesn't quite go together because you basically got bullet points in one sentence and then ending it with a period, but it's not really a full sentence. So I would either bullet point that, or probably what I would recommend is make that into 2 or 3 full sentences to make that really clear what you're looking for. You got your LinkedIn at the top. You've got your email, phone. One of the things I would include is definitely the website that you sent me. Like this is the kind of thing that you want people to see, and you've got some more information. They could come and they could dig about who you are, so they could come and look at that. And then you've got your links on here as well. And then projects. This is going to be my biggest piece of feedback. Is on here. You've got relevant technical experience. And it's the biggest thing is Code Connector, which again is a local organization, local group in Memphis, where we're both pretty active in building up the community there. This is great experience in terms of leadership, but on applying for a software developer or programmer position, you really want to show how you've put the technical skills that you have to use. So I would come to this projects page and include this link to the projects page, include the link here, but then also be able to show off these are the different things that you built, because those are the things that people are really going to want to see how you took the skills that you got exposure to and used them to build something cool. So that's one of the things that I think of is you've got several projects on here, and I know you've even got a few more than this, is go ahead and include a couple of those and include the buzzwords, the Python, the JavaScript, the HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, whatever it is that you use, include those and stress those as your relevant technical experience. So I personally would I would limit the Code Connector to 2 bullet points at most, and then throw in a couple of your projects to be able to show how you applied the technical skills. Now, you do have the LaunchCode program, which I think is every student in the LaunchCode has to have that on their resume, because that's one of the biggest solidifiers of your experience, I guess. It's the most formal thing that you've done. So you've got programming fundamentals. I think you kind of start, I guess you kind of start outlining basically how LaunchCode is outlined. So we start with Python to do programming concepts. I don't know specifically what you mean by universal, or maybe you just mean like standard programming conceps. I'm not really sure what that means there. Then getting into universal web, and this might actually just be phrasing from LaunchCode itself. So maybe that's not the words that you chose per se. Foundational elements of web applications with JavaScript. I don't know. I might caveat this a little bit, just obviously because I know the program, where we used actually no JavaScript in the program. So that might be, again, another opportunity to pull in one of those projects to highlight the fact that you've got JavaScript experience in a couple of different ways. But these are great keywords on here: HTML, CSS, SQL, Python. You could throw Flask in the section. You've got it down here. You could have thrown Bootstrap up there as well. You've got it down here too. One question I have is why Flask and Django are capitalized. I don't think they need to be. So I think you can lowercase those just to make them kind of fit with everything else. Object-oriented programming and Java web applications. I think mentioning Spring and Spring Boot is really important in here. That's going to be the big buzzword, I think, that's going to help with that. I don't personally get as much out of the like Java collections and static modifiers. I don't personally get a whole lot out of that. I don't know. So I think more importantly to me, it's object-oriented programming with Java and then using Spring Boot to build web applications. So I don't get a whole lot out of these details here. I would get more out of the fact that it's Spring Boot to build web applications. I don't know JavaScript syntax. I don't know specifically what you're trying to clarify with the syntax part. I would just think JavaScript. And again, I would probably move JavaScript down here and take it out of the universal web up here, just because we didn't formally use it. I know you did use JavaScript, but that's where you can use those extra projects to highlight that aspect of it. You've got Bootstrap, which is a good one to have, and then Flask and Django, and I think those can be lowercase. This is a big deal. The LaunchCode program. This is the most formal thing that you have on your resume, so I'm glad that that's basically first and foremost. I think you could maybe link this. This could be a link to LaunchCode just for recruiters or hiring managers to go and get a feel for the curriculum. They could go out there and see the website itself. And then you've got some education down here. If you start getting into some like free Codecamp resources, you might go ahead and list some of the other Udemy courses that you've taken as well. So I know you've gone through a lot of different courses. I know there's like the Wes Boss JavaScript 30. Wes Boss mentions that people put that on their resume all the time, which they totally should, because it's a great 30-day program. So you might list out, if depending on space in your resume, and I would keep it to one page. So that's one thing that you definitely did good. I would keep it to one page and maybe throw on a few of those other courses. And then you might need education, just because this is the title here. And then you've also got multilingual. You might need some way to break that up just to kind of separate out the multilingual part. I'm not sure. But I do think that's a cool thing to have on there. Inside of your work experience, one of the things you could do is increase revenue by 65%. All the time on resumes, you're looking for like concrete numbers of what you did. So I heard someone explain this the other day. When you look at work experience, you might share like one bullet point of what's expected in that role. So anyone that's in this role might do X. But then next, you would have specific things that you as an employee accomplished. And so this is one one specific that comes down to a number. Numbers are always good. Facts, numbers, those are always good to have on a resume. You could bold that, and I think you could go through and bold a few of the different things throughout your resume, especially once you add a couple of the projects to your resume. You can bold the languages, bold the frameworks, bold the tools that you used in there to make sure that they get seen. You got some coached, mentor, and trained. So that combined with your experience in the Code Connector community, I think that is a fabulous thing to have. It's one of the things that I pride myself on at my work at FedEx is the ability to, not just do my job, but also invest in other people, also continue to learn, and then take the things that I learned and then again invest them back in the people that are around me, especially developers as they are starting out. So I think you've already, even though you would be starting out as an entry-level developer, you've already shown the ability to help people learn, to help teach, to help be a leader, to learn yourself, to go out and learn the new technologies that an older company might need help doing. So I think that is something that that you definitely should have on your resume and definitely should stress. But I would, just to reiterate one more time, I would cut this down to probably about half to make sure that you can put in a couple of those technical projects on here as well. And then link to, maybe in here if it'll fit, link to your website so people can have that. And then maybe under your project section, link to the project section of your website. Just make it really easy for people to get to the things that are going to be important. So anyway, I think that's gonna wrap up this resume review. I do also just want to leave with a note of, again, reiterating, Danny is a fabulous part of the Memphis community. I've seen a lot of growth in the last maybe 6-8 months of activity in the meetups and things that we have. Part of that was building a community through LaunchCode. Part of that was growing the Code Connector meetup that he and I are a really big part of. And then a big part of that is Danny himself is going out there and networking and putting himself in positions or in the position to bring in extra resources, to bring people together. And that is one of the biggest pieces of advice outside of your specific resume that you can do to put yourself in the best position for opportunities going forward. So thank you, Danny, for sharing your resume. I hope that you got maybe a few good tips out of this. I will see you around in the community meetup soon. And I want to thank everybody else for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out learnbuildteach.com to sign up for the newsletter to learn about my latest content. Thanks for watching.